So if you remember correctly, if I open the customer and then service in here, so before, remember that customer makes, so in here, makes a network call right here to fraud by saying localhost 8081. Now I said that the main reason why we use service discovery is to remove this information in here. So localhost and then basically 8081, right? So we let the Eureka server handle this information, and all we need to care about is the name of the service that we want to connect to. So in this case is fraud. So just like this. So you can see that we just changed this to fraud and job done. It's literally, it's as easy as this. So this right here is, so in this page right here is the application name. So fraud in uppercase, and then this will resolve to this IP address as well as this port. Now let's go back to IntelliJ. And what I want to do is open up the application.yaml, and inside of JPA Hibernate DDL auto, let's just say create and then drop. So I'll always want to have a fresh database. So don't do this in production or environments where you want to keep the data, but I just want to have a clean database each time. So here also create and then drop. Now let me restart fraud. There we go. And you can see that we have the database or the create table right here because of create drop. And let's also start customer. So I think customer is already up and running. So let's just restart. There we go, the create table, and we're good to go. Now let's open up Postman, and you've seen this request time and time again. So this request will land in customer, and then customer will talk to fraud. If I send this request, we have an internal 500 internal server error. Let's have a look why. So in here, so unknown host exception. Now what is happening is, let me actually see if I can demonstrate this to you. So remember I said to you that if I basically click on edit configurations and then fraud, I'm going to duplicate fraud, and this will be fraud and then 2, and inside of program arguments say dash dash and then server dot and then port equals to 8085. So this there's nothing running on this port. So if I say apply, okay, and then run, there we go. So now in here, if I reload this page, we have 2 instances of fraud. Now when we make the HTTP request, currently REST template is confused, so it doesn't know how to handle this request that goes to fraud, right? So it goes to which of these instances, so it has no clue about it. So this is what's happening. So we're making a HTTP request, and from customer there are 2 fraud instances. How does REST template knows to send either to this instance or this other instance? Well, to fix this, we need to add an annotation to our REST template to be able to load balance the requests. So if I open up IntelliJ, and in here, let's open up customer config, and inside you see that we didn't configure REST template right here, but this bean, we have to also tell it to be at and then load balanced. So there we go, load balanced, which means that the request can either go to this instance or this other instance. If I open up, so fraud, so where is it? Fraud controller, have a look. We have fraud check request for customer and then customer ID. Now here we have two instances of fraud. So fraud right here and fraud as well. So let me basically delete all the logs, and I want to show you that. So here, so before this was a 500, and in fact, let's also restart customer because we added that annotation. So let's reload. There we go. And now if I go back, let's try and send this request and see if it works. So if I send the request, there we go. You can see that this time it works. It's a 200. But what I want to show you is, so if I open this fraud application, so let's see whether we have some logs. Yes, have a look. Fraud request or fraud check request for customer 1. And let's have a look at the fraud application 2. Nothing inside. Now, if I send the request again, so send again, and let's check the logs. Check this out. So this time it landed on the fraud application 2. So this is quite cool, right? Have a look. So basically it's using round robin to distribute the requests. So first it landed on this fraud application running on port 8081, and then this other one running on port 8085. If you have any questions on what happened here, please do let me know. Otherwise, let's move on.